tonight to lift up today John chapter 13, verse 8 and 9. And it says, and Jesus said to Simon, unless I wash your feet, you can never walk with me. Well, Lord, Simon replied, don't just wash my feet. Wash my hands and my head as well. If I could, I would like to entitle this, God, I need you to be my hands, my head, and my feet. Today is Thanksgiving, of course, and I travel quite a bit. I found myself often tired, but still driving. I found myself on the road many times in a lane that I did not start my destination in, but God wakes me up and I'm able to maintain my life because He directs my left and my right. I end up in different cities, different states. Sometimes I'm in 3 states in one day. I know that many of you travel just like me, whether you do it for work, for secular satisfaction, whether you do it because you just like driving. Many people travel from place to place. If I've come on today to bring light to the situation that the enemy thought that he would drive you crazy. And I know he's been after your mind. You have been between decisions of left and right. You've been between, should I leave them or should I cop out on the fact that I've been right and they've been doing me wrong? Talking to somebody that the enemy thought he would drive you crazy last year with all the hell that you've been through. He thought that 2020 and the coronavirus, he thought 2020 and the crash of the economic system, he thought that 2020 and everything that you saw last year would bring you to a place to say, God, I'm through. But I came to declare war, not on the enemy, but on the sign of initiative that says that he wins. That I'm taking it down, because when I've arrived at this location, it's not because I gave up, but it is because you said that everything inside of you would not give up. But you determined that you had to get up. You had to go on. So I've come today. I've come today to be a sign of eviction for anybody traveling in their mind, thinking that this one time you wouldn't make it. I pull you through. I'm coming to be a sign for anybody in their mind struggling to say, maybe I couldn't take it. Pull you through. I'm pulling for you. That's what I am. I'm pulling for anybody who gave up last night. You woke up this morning. I'm pulling for you. I'm pulling because I know the weight of worry. So I'm pulling for you. Pulling for you because I know the weight of being well but not feeling it. I'm pulling for you. I'm pulling for anybody who carries it. Sometimes you want to throw it. God, it don't seem like I should be handling it. I'm pulling for you. And I need you to know that Simon finds himself in just his place on today. Simon's not apprehensive. He's just looking at something that does not look favorable, because it's definitely a plot for his Savior. Simon said, I didn't plan this. We come to the part in the text where the initiative of the verse, the conclusion that doesn't end in the verb, the point where religion meets relationship, because Jesus had to die in it. And they're at the Last Supper, and Jesus looks at Simon and says, let me wash your feet. Simon says, Lord, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy for you to wash my feet. And I don't know where you are that you would think that God was not capable of changing where you stepped on. Talking to somebody that your past is kind of murked up, and people have had you messed up, and your background has mud on it, and your future don't seem that bright because the enemy seems to be trampling on it. And you sometimes give up on you because your faith, you play with it because you let other people speak down of it. You've got to start to looking at things differently, that God is able to walk into your past and your present. He's able to be in your right now and in your yesterday. He's able to confuse the enemy that says that you would not win here. I've come to tell you, when you come here, you have to be determined here that God did not come just to look at your feet, but he said, I've came to wash it. But Simon in rebuttal says, God, I don't want you to wash my feet. Don't wash my feet because I'm unworthy. He said, unless you let me wash your feet. You mean now? He said, let me wash your feet, Simon. Let me wash your feet so you can walk in it with me. And here's the sad part of the text. It's not that he's about to die. It's not that Simon thinks he's unworthy. Here it is. Simon said, Lord, if that's the case, don't just wash my feet, but wash my feet, my hands, and my head. God, there's so much stuff on me that I know if you bless me in my feet, my mind is still defeated. There's so much stuff on me. If you just take care of my hands, it's my feet that's tripping me. God, there's so much stuff around me. So much doubt spoken towards me. So much manipulation playing around me. If you just take care of my mind, my hands would kill me. God, I don't need you to just be one-dimensional. I don't need you to just be too in specific. God, I want you to multiply every blessing that you have for me. Let it touch not only my feet, but my hands and my head. Let it not only make me determined, but let me take doubt completely out instead. Let me look at it differently and touch it differently. Let me walk in it differently and believe to it differently. Let me think differently in my mind while holding differently with my hands, while walking differently into it with my feet. I speak over myself prosperity, stress-free. I speak over myself prosperity and debt-free. I speak over my hands that I'm going to walk into everything with my feet, that my hands would point and say, that's in front of me. I see it differently. He says, bless my head. I feel it differently. He said, bless my hands. He said, I walk differently. He said, bless my feet. And I've come today to tell somebody I've got good news. God didn't forget about you. He said, I wanted you to walk with me. But I know there's some fights that in your mind you're already defeated. So I can't just leave you walking. Says, I wanted you to walk with me, but I know that there are some places that your feet may can go, but your mind could not comprehend that you were favored to be here. So you doubted and leave there before I even allowed you to arrive here. She says, so I'm blessing your head. So Simon, there are some places that I want to give you in your hand, but you physically have to walk into it with your feet. So I'm blessing your feet. I got to tell you today that the vision in your mind won't stay there, but God is blessing your feet that you'll be able to walk into the building. I'm talking to somebody that you can draw with your hands, but your mind really hasn't conceived that it's not just for other people, but it's for you. God says, I'm blessing your head that you can conceive it in conception, but you can have it in a manifestation. Talking to somebody who believed that they weren't worthy. But God says that you're willingly able. Now I'm going to make your mind mentally stable. That everything you would ask of me, says I'm giving it to you. Not only in your hands. Watch and see it, don't your mind change. Watch and see, don't your feet, your walking change. Watch and see, don't you touch it differently. Don't you believe it differently. Don't you walk into everything that your mind said you can, that the enemy said that you can't. He thought last year he'd drive you crazy. But I came today on Thanksgiving to tell somebody where he drove you. God washed you. We don't struggle with that. That ain't what we're struggling with in this season. But we're favored, graced, anointed, blessed. And watch this. I can walk it. Got my hands on it. I put my mind to it. God be my hands, my head, and my feet. Bless me.